you think digital experiences and technology is changing the way you're serving small businesses today, which was not possible 5 years ago?
So slowly we have evolved. We were able to improve our bank statement analysis using tools to automate the whole encoding process. We have also brought in partners to be able to help us do our credit screening faster by using machine learning logic to identify or to give us confidence that this person is indeed the same person that we are pulling a query on.
So how do you prevent a fraud and how do you mitigate risk in that ecosystem?
Credit investigation, field investigation. So someone will go and visit the site. Someone will call a partner bank to ensure that the bank account is authentic.
What do you think are the biggest gaps that need to be plugged?
Every contract needs a wet signature. Despite the Philippines having passed an e-signature law, a national ID is something that had started 4 years ago, but it's still not yet reached its critical mass.
Hi JD, welcome to Fintraction podcast by Perfios. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I'm JD. I'm based in the Philippines. I'm the Executive Vice President and Segment Head for Business Banking with Security Bank. So Security Bank is one of the top banks in the Philippines. I think we're currently ranked 6 or 7 by assets. And we have a new business banking segment which serves micro, small, and medium enterprises. It's been around for 4 years and growing pretty fast.
So you've built Security Bank's business banking segment from ground up. How do you think digital experiences and technology is changing the way you're serving small businesses today, which was not possible 5 years ago?
I think it played a very important part. In the past, when I came in and took over, there were a lot of manual processes being done. For example, when it comes to getting bureau information, some of them are fortunate, it's connected via API and you have a process data. Other checks, unfortunately, has to be manually conducted. The results has to be eyeballed because Philippines doesn't have a national ID. So you have to make sure that this person you are doing a query on is really the person that is indeed applying for the loan. So slowly we have evolved. We were able to improve our bank statement analysis using tools to automate the whole encoding process. We have also brought in partners to be able to help us do our credit screening faster by using machine learning logic to identify or to give us confidence that this person is indeed the same person that we are pulling a query on.
Right. With your background in analytics and risk, how do you think data intelligence can power better lending decisions for small businesses and move beyond traditional collateral-based models?
I think that's a very important area to help evolve because, yes, in the past, folks are very confident on the strength of the collateral, right? I could just confidently say, okay, since you're giving me this asset, I'll lend you 70% with my eyes closed. But not all SMEs have already collateral to be able to pledge to the bank. So we have to be able to find the right MSMEs and using data, using insights that you can glean from transactions, you're able to confidently underwrite an SME based on their cash flows and lose dependence on the collateral. So our unsecured portfolio and unsecured loan is one of our top selling products in Security Bank. And over the years, we have continuously refined our policies. So we're getting very good risk-adjusted returns because of the confidence that we're able to identify the strength of the client based on their data.
Right. You mentioned you can't lend to anyone with your eyes closed, right? So how do you prevent a fraud and how do you mitigate risk in that ecosystem?
We have to, in Philippines, fortunately, the cost to do certain checks are still acceptable relative to the loan size. So in addition to looking at the information that we received, we also conduct credit investigation, field investigation. So someone will go and visit the site. Someone will call a partner bank to ensure that the bank account is authentic. But we also like to find ways to minimize that, right? Because eventually we'll try to optimize cost. And over time, we want to bring in tools to tell us with more confidence that this guy, you should go and visit. And this bank account, you should go and check. But if I feel that if the tool says, I think we're pretty confident this looks legit, then we can save on the investigation time as well as the investigation cost.
Right. So the credit landscape in Philippines is also evolving rapidly with banks and fintechs and even data platforms trying to close the credit gap. With the context of the MSME banking landscape in Philippines, what do you think are the biggest gaps that need to be plugged?
A few. It's still very paper-centric right now. Every contract needs a wet signature. Despite the Philippines having passed an e-signature law, folks are still wary in being the first one to test whether the law can be defended, right, or can be implemented in a court. But that is an area we're excited to push the envelope on. We had started accepting e-signature via DocuSign for certain transactions, and eventually would like to bring everything via e-signature. So that is one. Second would be identity. National ID is something that had started 4 years ago, but it's still not yet reached its critical mass. But we hope it'll reach that point where, for one thing, there's a mass adoption of national ID, as well as linking the national ID to the company registration. So you know that this person is indeed a director, shareholder, or proprietor of that company. Once we see those linkages happen, then it'll be much simpler to be able to underwrite and serve SMEs from a financing standpoint.
You mentioned that people are, apprehensive to be the first ones to test new technology. How do you think that perspective shift can happen where we don't have too many laggards within the ecosystem?
I think we just have to put on a test and learn hat and experiment slowly. I would probably start by putting small loan tickets under that process test. And if I need to enforce a contract in law, then we test it out. And unfortunately, we have to be the guinea pig to try it, right? But once we're able to demonstrate that we can enforce the contract signed with an e-sig, then that will open up floodgates to our wider adoption, right? Just like how fintech has always been a champion, has always been telling us to disrupt the market. I think we just have to be one of the disruptors in this area.
Right. What are the few trends that you're the most optimistic about?
Automation, definitely. In this morning's fintech opening, they shared about their excitement on how AI will come in and bring more efficiency. They spoke about how data exchanges will be much smoother in the future. So that is a trend I hope I'll see in the Philippines over the next 5 years, where it'll be faster to process loan applications. It'll be faster to verify identity, as well as identify fraudulent cases in order to prevent us from having future fraud losses. So those are technologies that I'm slowly eyeing, but it's not something that we also go nuts on and invest, right? We study, we curate, we do POCs before we go and change the entire processes. But yeah, those are areas that I believe can be a big game changer in the field of SME lending over the next 5 years.
If you had to pick one thing that you think Philippines will lead the way on in the Southeast Asian market, let's say in the next decade, what do you think that will be?
The country or from a lending standpoint?
From a lending standpoint.
That's a difficult question. That's a very difficult question. But I do hope that... Okay, I'll pass. That's a very difficult question.
All right. Fair enough. Okay, so Perfios has also been powering Security Bank's operations for some time now. Can you tell us how we've been able to support you?
I think we appreciate the new insight that Perfios has brought. And before Perfios became one of our partners, our bank statement encoding has been pretty manual. We will hire contract staff to eyeball printouts of bank statements, and they will type it in. There will be errors. They'll take shortcuts, right? Instead of entering proper statements, they'll just leave certain fields blank, and we were running decisions based on that. But with the Perfios technology that we had piloted, we were able to fully capture what are in these bank statements, and they had provided us insights that help us underwrite and more, right? There are insights that flags potential fraud, which we find very helpful and was not something we had considered before. They had also brought down the speed on how we process loan applications, and then they're very supportive, right? Whenever there are new templates that comes in, and they'll help us have a look. And now we're also working with Perfios on how we can further integrate their solutions into our underwriting journey. Currently, it's still something that's not connected. We run it in a Perfios platform. We get the output, and then it's encoded into our loan operation systems. We're now working with them to make it more seamless. We upload once, and that's it. You don't have to re-enter again. So looking forward to how the partnership can help us be better in the future.
Lovely. Fantastic to hear that. Thanks for joining us, JD.
Thanks.